Okay.
You look great. Welcome everyone to our Chinese Dumpling Party. This is the first in our series hosted by Redwood City International. My name is Keith Blackie and I am the president of Redwood City International.
My name is Nancy Zhang. I am a board member of Redwood City International.
And my name is Elise Gaynor. I'm also a board member with Redwood City International. So Keith is going to start us off with some introductory remarks. Then we're going to hear from the mayor of Redwood City, and then we'll get started with our program today.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome and good evening, everyone. My name is Diane Howard, and I am the mayor of Redwood City and a board member of Redwood City International. Redwood City strives to be a welcoming community where we celebrate the many cultures that shape us. After what's been a challenging year of distance and uncertainty, I am excited about this opportunity for us to connect with each other over Chinese food and culture. This evening, you are invited to learn something new while making a delicious meal with your friends and neighbors in the Redwood City community. Please stay connected with us after the event by following Redwood City International on Facebook. We look forward to staying in touch. Enjoy your evening.
Not only is this an opportunity to enjoy nourishment together, but for the first time in 14 months, to spend personal time with friends without wearing a mask, as each of us have been vaccinated. Though we know it will end soon, this brief opportunity to be together makes this evening special.
Thank you for the quick message from Mayor of Redwood City and the Redwood City International board member, Diane Howard.
And now we'll see the press reel from Peninsula 360 Press, who is hosting and live streaming our event.
Peninsula 360 Press is a cross-cultural digital studio. We use journalism, social research, and new technologies to give voice to the great ethnic diversity in San Francisco, the Peninsula, Silicon Valley, and beyond. Peninsula 360 Press, collaborative digital media.
Hey everybody, welcome back again. We're super glad you're here. We want to give a big shout out and thank you to Peninsula 360 Press for hosting and live streaming our event. And I want to give you a little preview of what we're going to be doing today. So our host, Nancy, is going to walk us through a recipe that was really kindly given to us by Grandma Ju and Palace Wang of Crouching Tiger Restaurant in downtown Redwood City. Crouching Tiger is actually sponsoring the event as well, and you'll have a chance to hear more from Palace Wang later in our program. And then we hope that you stay till the very end because we'll also be giving away gift cards to Crouching Tiger Restaurant. So stay here if you want to hear your name called. Finally, we again just want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope that you have all of your filling made, since today we'll really be focusing more on folding the dumplings and cooking the dumplings. And Nancy's going to give us a quick preview of folding before we get started with the recipe that Grandma Ju and Palace Wang shared with us.
Yeah, it is my pleasure and to be with everyone tonight, and I hope you will enjoy this event. But before we get started, because we're gonna learn the most traditional way of making dumplings from scratch from Grandma Do, and I'm super excited. But before that, since we're using this machine-made wrappers, they're a little bit different from homemade wrapper, and so I think I need to show an example of how to use the machine-made wrapper and to fold a dumpling. So this is the machine-made wrapper. It's a little bit thicker than the homemade one. So when you put the filling inside the wrapper, and before you fold to half, and then make sure you use you can use your finger, or you can use the teaspoon to sprinkle some water just at the edge to make sure that when you fold to half, it will be sticky, and then you can add some on the both sides too, and then you can pinch a little bit, and then push both sides forward to the middle, and then make sure you reinforce it, and so that way it won't open while cooking. So we got our first one done, and then okay, are you ready for the most traditional way of making homemade dumpling and from Grandma Do? Okay, I'm gonna walk you through and explain all the details. And while you're watching, and you can start making your dumplings as well. So at this moment, Grandma is actually making the wrapper, and she's making it from the scratch. And now she is making the dough, which is the first step and also the most important step as well. So make sure that you're using the dumpling flour because of the protein level. If you don't have it, but don't worry about that, you can just use all-purpose flour, but to put 1 or 2 eggs into it, and just to bump up the protein level. And now she is kneading the dough, and to make sure that the dough will have very good texture. So it's gonna take like 5 to 6 minutes to just make the dough. Okay, now while we're waiting for the dough, and Grandma is showing us all the ingredients that we're using for the fillings. Tonight we're actually using Napa cabbage and green onions and ground pork and finely minced ginger and soy sauce and all the other secret ingredients in our ingredient list. And I assume that everybody already have your fillings down, and Grandma is actually walking us through from step by step. And then you can get all the ingredients in Asian markets. And I think Grandma is using the vegetable oil because the taste would be a little bit different. And now she is going to mix all the ingredients together.
Now, does it matter what order these ingredients are mixed together
No.
in?
No. Okay, so she's gonna go to one of the most important steps for making the filling. And the reason why grandma is squeezing the cabbage is because you cannot have too much water in the filling. If you have too much water in the filling, and then when you boil the dumpling, it will fall apart. So actually, traditional way making dumpling really takes a lot of work and effort, and it's not easy, but it's worth it. And it's a lot of handwork as well, because you have to squeeze the water by your hands. And grandma is doing that by herself. And usually it takes one person to make the filling. So the filling part is actually still in the pregame part. Okay, I think now she's going to stir so it doesn't matter about the order, but it matters about how you stir it. I think she's going to stir it. Yes. Okay, and make sure you stir it within one direction. And then it's gonna take 6 to 8 minutes to just stir it. It's a lot of work.
Can you say more about why it has to go in one direction?
Just make sure that all the ingredients, they can mix together, and it's just for the taste.
Okay.
Okay, and they're going to make the wrapper. So grandma's daughter is showing us the rolling pin and some of the other flour. Make sure you have some flour here, and just to spring on the plates or spring on the cutting board. And the dough is ready, and grandma is cutting the dough into a strip. And now she's rolling one piece into a thick strip, and make sure that the thickness is the same. And the reason why she's adding more flour on the board is just to prevent from stickiness. Now she's cutting the strip into pieces, and so that way we can start making wrappers. Usually it's a teamwork. So grandma will cut the strip, and kids like us will be around, and then we'll start flattening and the pieces, and so that way we can start to make the wrapper and using the rolling pin. And now grandma is doing it by herself. Usually it's a teamwork, and it's family together time. So yeah, now she's rolling it with the rolling pin. And if you're doing that by yourself, just make sure that the middle is thicker and the edge is thinner. So that's the difference between the homemade. So the one that we're using now, this is machine made. So machine made, there is no difference. But the homemade, usually in the middle, it's thicker, but on the edge, it's usually thinner. Why? Because if it's thinner, it's easy to fold and to stick together. When I was little, I was actually the one making the wrapper when my grandma has everything ready. So it's a lot of fun. It really brings a lot of memory to my childhood and great time with my grandma. And I really miss my grandma and family time together. Yeah. Okay, now grandma is actually folding the dumpling. Yeah, and she pushed the two sides to the middle, and just to make sure that they won't open while boiling it. I think Grandma is, I think she is done with her work, and thank you, Grandma Du. And I understand it's a lot of work to get everything done just by herself, and I can imagine. So, Alice, do you have any questions about the culture, and what does that mean to Chinese about dumplings?
Yeah, I do have a lot of questions. And I'm thinking maybe we can get started folding our dumplings, practicing, because I definitely need practice folding.
Sure.
I'm sure other people
That's
who
two
are
of us.
watching also need practice folding, so we can chit-chat and fold a little bit. But do you want to show us again your technique for doing this with the machine-made wrappers?
Oh, yeah, sure. This is the machine-made wrapper, as I mentioned before, and this is flat, right? But the homemade wrapper, usually in the middle, it's thicker, and the edge is usually thinner. It's easy to stick together if it's homemade, but because it's machine-made, so we need to put 1 teaspoon filling. Okay, you can use this one.
I think there's one here for me.
Great. So then 1 teaspoon filling on the wrapper, and then you can either use teaspoon, or you can just use your finger and sprinkle a little bit on the edge, and to make sure that when you fold, and it won't open. Okay. So then we fold to half first, and then we fold the both sides a little bit, and then we push the both sides to the middle. Okay, and then you can pinch a little bit and then reinforce. Just make sure when you boil it, it won't open. Okay, so this is a ready to go dumpling. Okay,
It's beautiful.
All
right, I gotta keep trying with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it takes time to practice. It does take time.
I can tell that. I'm sure my second one will be better.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's why I think it would be better, and to give everyone a heads up, because the machine made is different. That's why we're showing you grandma and grandma's traditional way of making dumpling, because the traditional and homemade wrapper is gonna be a lot easier to fold. Okay, you can just leave it.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. This one's a little bit messy,
Yeah.
but we're gonna try again on the second one.
Yeah, and before we move on, I'd like to share the significance
Absolutely.
of dumpling and Chinese culture with everyone here, and with you guys as well. So Chinese dumpling is actually the most important foods in Chinese culture, especially in Chinese New Year. It's like the must-have food on the dining table, and also it's actually dumpling is actually originally from Han Dynasty, and back then the shape of dumpling is like the gold and silver currency. So what does that mean? It symbolized wealth and well-being. So when you're having dumpling party with families and friends, it is a way to give your wishes to your families and friends through dumplings, and to wish them good wealth and well-being in the coming year.
That's really beautiful. I was gonna
Yeah,
say, just,
right.
you know, how something that we, you know, still are doing today, how it can be so ancient and you know, pass through generations and have so much significance. You had talked a little bit more about your like personal connection with dumplings and how you would make them with your grandmother. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, for me, like dumpling is festival, dumpling is ritual, dumpling is reunion, and dumpling is family for sure. And when we're having the dumpling, it just brings a lot of memories, great memories. While you know families are gathering together and the friends are just chatting around the table while we are making the dumpling. So, like I just mentioned previously, the process is really long. So it's really hard to do it by yourself. So that's why we call that it's a way showing teamwork. It's also a way of you know, communication.
Yeah.
And around the table you can catch up on life, and you can have the table chat, and while you're making the dumpling, and then time flies faster as well. And then it usually, you know, brings a lot of joy, and it release some of the hard work as well. So oh wow,
Beautiful,
you're making
Keith.
it's
Wow.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Nancy,
beautiful.
I'm gonna need to see your tutorial one more time. Because I'm doing like little. I'm just trying to keep it all secured, keep like all the filling from spilling out. But it doesn't look that great. So.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. It takes time to practice. Yeah.
Yeah, can you show me one more time?
Yeah, of course. So yes, we need 1 teaspoon of the filling, and then make sure you always sprinkle some water at the edge. Okay, and fold to half first. Fold to half first, and then push the both sides to the middle. Push the both sides to the middle, and then pinch the edge. Okay, pinch the edge, and then reinforce it. Okay.
It looked so much easier when I used to watch the street vendors in Beijing, and they were making these. They all.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta keep trying.
Yeah. You can try another one. Yeah. So okay.
They're getting better with each one I make.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, I think we're gonna share some of the videos from Crouching Tiger.
Oh, I think we were gonna just share a little more about RCI. I want to talk a little bit more about that because we have our sister city in Zhuhai in China, and we are, you know, a small nonprofit, all volunteer based that is really, you know, excited about cultural exchange and sister cities. And so Keith is actually the president of our organization. And
Yeah, Keith.
maybe you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, would you like to share us more
Yeah,
about the mission and
I
history?
really would, because I've been with RCI for a number of years, and RCI has been with Redwood City for many years, even before that. There was a port relationship established in the 1980s that connected the port of Redwood City with the port of Zhuhai. And if you look at a lot of the metrics about the two cities, you'll understand the commonality. Zhuhai is at the delta of the river, and just as Redwood City is at the port of Redwood City is at the delta. That was in the 1980s, that port relationship occurred. In the 1990s, some community members from Redwood City created or established this connection with the city itself, and the first steps into creating the making Redwood City a sister city relationship with Zhuhai. And that was so in the 1980s is when the organization started, and has just been growing so since then. We sponsor a lot of cultural events. Many of the cultural related events that you attend in downtown Courthouse Square are sponsored by Redwood City International. And every time we have cultural guests in town, cultural dignitaries and so on, we always make sure that we spend the time with them, hosting them and introducing them to the city. And then also members of RCI have had opportunities to travel to China and visit Zhuhai. In fact, one of our guests at the table here, Elise, was there in 2019?
Yeah, it was in November of 2019.
November
Yeah.
2019. So yeah, and then we also have sister city relationships with 2 cities in Mexico. And later on, we're going to be doing events where we're connecting with and doing similar demonstrations with some of the restaurants here in downtown Redwood City, that Mexican and Hispanic restaurants will be doing that.
And I think people are sending us questions on the live stream, so we'd love to talk a little bit about that. What questions are coming in? Maybe, Annalie, can you, I can't read them from here.
Yeah, we.
So can you just call them out?
Are dumplings the meal? What is served with it?
Oh, we can just serve the dumpling. Yeah, dumpling is actually the main meal, and you can just have your favorite dipping sauce, and that's it. Make sure that you sprinkle some of the flour in the process, because it's gonna be too sticky.
Were there other questions that were coming through?
How many different types of fillings can be used for dumplings? Are they considered desserts too? You put fruit in it.
No, they're not dessert. They're just filling, and filling can be, oh man, I think filling can be thousands of different types, and you can be as creative as you want. And like today, we're actually the recipe that we're using is the most traditional one. It's the ground pork and the green ginger, and but you actually also can add some celery. You can add some Chinese celery in this filling, and also you can make some seafood dumpling as well. Like one of my favorite dumpling is actually shrimp. So you can use shrimp and as the ground meat, and to make a different flavor of dumpling.
How long does the wrappers keep in the refrigerator if you don't want to use them all at one time?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think probably 1 week. Yeah, 1 week. Because you want everything to be fresh. But for the filling part, it's better to just have it for one time and do not even keep that in fridge, because it's not going to be fresh.
Can you freeze these before boiling?
Yes, you can. Of course, you can. And some of the, when I was little, and I made a lot of dumplings with my grandma in the entire afternoon. And then after that, and we couldn't finish it, and then we'll freeze some in the freezer. And then so in the next few weeks, we can just keep consuming the rest.
Could you show a close-up of the closing of the dumpling and very, very slow?
Oh, okay, sure. So yes, I know it's a little bit difficult because we're using the machine made, but machine made is a lot easier, as you can tell. So 1 teaspoon of filling, and then make sure you use your finger and to sprinkle on the edge, and fold to half, and then fold both sides a little bit, and then push them forward to the middle. Push them forward to the middle, and then just pinch the edge a little bit, and reinforce the edge, just to make sure it won't open while cooking. Okay, if it's still not sticky, and you can add more, water, and at the edge, just make sure that it's good to go. Okay.
Oh, excellent. I'm envious.
Thank you. And if I cannot get this done, then it's a shame to be a Chinese.
Will you go through the cooking part of it later? What's best, pan-fried, boiled, or steamed?
Well, it's really up to you, but the most traditional way is actually boiling. Because boiling it, and you don't have any extra flavor with the dumpling. And then after it's ready, and then you can, everyone has different preference of dipping sauce. So you can add your dipping sauce with the dumpling. So it really up to you. So there are actually 3 main ways of cooking dumpling. One is boiling, one is steaming, and one is pan frying. Pan frying, yeah.
Do the ingredients, meat-based, always go in raw?
Oh, like the filling? When you put the filling in,
Yeah, is it
always
raw or cooked before it's put into the?
Oh, it's always raw. It's always raw, because we're gonna cook it later, either boil, steam, or fry.
Do we have any other questions, or that's it? Okay. Well, while we continue folding, we want to shoot it over to Palace Wang, who is from Crouching Tiger Restaurant, and they donated a lot of wrappers actually for all of us to enjoy this event. So we want to give a big thank you to them first. And we have a short video for you to watch before we connect with Palace.
Hello, Keith. Hello, Nancy and Elise. You guys are doing a great job in the studio. Hi, everyone. My name is Palace Wen. I am with Crouching Tiger Restaurant. We are really honored that Redwood City International has made us the very first stop of this culture tour. As you can see, I am making dumpling at my home kitchen today. I'm so excited to have this for dinner, because Grandma Du's recipe is very much like my mom used to make. The ingredients seems to be very simple, but super delicious. Crouching Tiger Restaurant has been serving authentic Mandarin and Sichuan cuisine since 2008. The owner, Tanya, and Chef Zan, they have been serving the area for a long time, and they decided to join the great experience and present the best here in Redwood City back in 2008. The video you just played for us, I love that video. It really highlights the signature of our hot and spicy food. I don't know about you, but every time I watch that video, the hot and steaming cooking and the sizzling, it just stimulates my palate and made me feel hungry. Some of my favorite dishes are also presented in that video. You can see the Mongolian beef, General Zhao's chicken, and this one is tea smoked duck, and some of the appetizers, dan dan noodle, cold noodle, General Zhao's chicken, and we have a variety of spicy and non-spicy food. And this one is dry cooked prawn with magic chili. Yummy, yummy. And the good news is our restaurant is reopened for dining again. Yay! I'm so happy to hear that, because I really miss the time that I could sit down and enjoy my favorite food with my friend at Crouching Tiger. 2020 has been a real challenging year for us. Our team has taken tremendous effort in response to the COVID-19 safety guidelines. Things like sneeze guards on the table between seatings, and some contactless process was implemented. You can use your phone to scan QR code and get a digital menu and the contactless payment method. A lot of details. I know some of you are familiar with our restaurant setting in the past and are curious about how we are and how we looked during the pandemic. Well, let me show you quickly about what we have made changes last year.
This is the front of Crouching Tiger restaurant. During pandemic, we are serving takeout orders only. To make the process easier for customers to pick up the food and better safety flow, we changed the entrance and only allow customers to use the door to the left. Although the back door is closed, we can deliver orders to the parking lot as you wait in the car upon request. You're probably more familiar with this area. The fun bar, the comfortable booth tables. As you can see, it's now blocked and completely closed. This area used to be dinings with big tables. It's now signs, dividers, plastic glass, hand sanitizers, everything you need to make sure that we meet the COVID-19 guidelines. We want to make sure every order our customer received is safe, worry-free, and most importantly, as delicious. Our team will continue to work hard to help build a strong community. We truly appreciate all your support in the past, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
But we know the worst is over, and we can stay strong because of you. On behalf of our team, I would like to express our sincere appreciation toward you, toward this wonderful community of Redwood City, for your support during this difficult time. Without you, we won't be able to make it through 2020 until now. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and we will see you very soon, okay? Bye.
So I think we actually have some more questions from the audience. Thank you, Palace, for joining our live stream, and it was great to hear from you. Annalie, do you mind reading the questions and then we'll answer them?
When you boil dumplings, do you add anything to the water, such as oil or salt?
If you boil the dumpling, you don't need to add oil, but you need to add water. But we're gonna show everyone today how to boil dumpling today.
Some comments. Crouching Tiger has delicious food. Loved it when I visited Redwood City.
That's great.
That's it.
Okay, great. Well, we're actually going to take a little break. Maybe we can show you all how we boil the dumplings. Then while they're cooking, we have a little video that shows how other households make dumplings. So Nancy, can you just show us how you would boil them? I think we already have the water going.
Yeah, we already have the water going here. And also before boil the water, so make sure that you boil the water first, and then you have also a bowl of room temperature water ready. I'm gonna show you how to do that step by step. So the water is already boiling, and then we have the dumplings ready to go, and then we'll just put the dumplings in the water.
Do you mean to hold the plate? Will it help if
Yes, please. Thank you. So yes, okay. We're gonna have the. So now the water is not boiling, and then we'll just put the rest of the dumplings in the water, and then put the lid on the top. But make sure that you're standing by the stove and just wait for the water is boiling again. When it's boiling again, and don't put the dumplings out yet. And then when it's boiling again, make sure that you use this room temperature water, and to add some water in the boiling water when it's boiling again. But now we're just waiting. We're just waiting for it's boiling again, and then so we'll add some room temperature water.
Why do you add the room temperature water when it's boiling? Is that like just to keep it at a certain
Because
temperature?
when the water is boiling the first time, actually the dumpling is not ready yet.
Okay.
Especially if the filling is meat.
Okay.
And if the filling is meat, you have to make sure that the water is gonna be boiling like 3 times.
Got it.
But if it's the filling is just the vegetables, and then 2 times are good enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I learned since little from my grandma, of course. And then it's also part of the the ritual.
We might have to turn it up. Is it high? Oh yeah. Yeah. You have to turn this one up to high. There it
Oh,
is.
okay, good. Yeah, make sure that you turn it to high.
Could you show us how to call the dumplings again?
Dumplings in Chinese? 饺子. I'll say that again. 饺子.
Great. So while ours cook, we have a little video to share with you all from some of our other RCI members, just showing how dumplings are made in different households. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so, and when we get back, we'll show you our finished product and announce the winners of the raffle.
Hi, my name is Moon Lim. I'm with Redwood City International. I'm so happy we can gather finally together with friends today and making dumplings. Today we're gonna make 2 different dumplings, shrimp and beef. And while we are learning about the dumpling, we found out so many variety of dumplings around the world. As you can see, so many. So we'll just make it today and see how tasty it is and how easy it is. And
Hi, my name is Barbara Pierce. I'm also a member of RCI. I'm looking forward to making the dumplings today with Moon. She's done a great job preparing everything, and it gives me a real understanding of just how much work goes into making the dumplings. I'd like to introduce my friend Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Ratcliffe with RCI, and we're so excited to learn a new kind of dumpling, because I'm kind of used to apple dumplings.
when I went to the Persian restaurant, I was so surprised to learn they have such a similar style of dumpling, and they also call it mantu or manti. And Korean dumpling is also called mandu. Unlike Korean restaurant, which uses beef and even kimchi in it, Persian restaurant offered like lamb with yogurt sauce. So it was such a surprising find and delight.
I was pleased when Moon showed me the map of the different countries and what are native dumplings. I found the tortellini from my grandmother's country, Italy, and those are ring-shaped pasta and from the region of Emilia. And traditionally they're stuffed with pork loin, raw prosciutto, and mortadello, and cheese and egg, and then they're cooked in a broth. And I thought this was a fascinating twist on dumplings, and so it's fun to be doing that today.
So coming from the British Isles, my heritage is much more geared to a meat pasty, which is actually rather a giant dumpling in a crust, but using different parts of the animal that we don't really want to tell you what's in there.
The posty herb is almost
So
ready.
it's posted. You're famous now?
Very nervous.
Alright.
Oh, is that done?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. I guess let's do it. It's ready. Let's see. Are you ready, Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Wow! Golden brown.
Look at that.
It's a mighty.
Very impressive.
Posty is ready.
Nice.
Cheers! Cheers! Good friend!
Yeah.
All right.
Time.
All right.
Hey.
Thanks. Thank you, Moon of RCI, Barbara, and Nancy, and Chu and Jerry for putting that video together. I think we might have some more questions before we move on to the next part.
Should the dumplings be under the water? It seems there are a lot of dumplings in one pot.
That's why we chose this kind of pot, because it's deep. So if you are boiling the dumpling, make sure that you choose this kind of pot, and then put at least half amount of water into the pot. Yeah, and then you're good. And we're still waiting for the second time.
How long does it usually take to complete the boiling cooking process?
Well, it really depends on how much water and the size of your pot. But usually it's like 10 minutes. Yeah. So I think it's the second time. So now we're putting more water because it's not ready yet, and make sure that you add some water. So this is the second time. And then we still need to wait for the last round. Okay.
How can you tell when they are done?
Just count the 3 times. Once the third time is coming, and then it's done. That's what I learned, and it never went wrong.
And then we have the same question. How long do we boil them?
It takes like 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah. But make sure that the water is boiling, and don't put the dumplings while the water is not boiling yet.
So while we're still waiting, I'm curious to hear what other food traditions or memories that you, Keith, and Nancy have from growing up, or even from adulthood. It could be any time in your life, but.
Well, I don't have the food tradition, the Chinese food traditions, but I was very fortunate to be the vice president of the first American company to be allowed to, wholly owned American company to be allowed to work in China. And so having a number of visits there, I really got to enjoy the culture, the food, the scenery, all of the tourist spots that you read about. I've been lucky enough to have personally experienced. So, and I have a number of fond memories, not only in mainland China, but to have visited Hong Kong. And I remember one of the more interesting things is I'm telling my story about how you can, when you cross the border between Hong Kong and China, they switch from driving on the left-hand side of the road to driving on the right-hand side. So literally, as you pass through the gateway there, you've got to move to the other side of the road and continue driving. So that's one of the things I remember. But also the time in China of traveling on the trains, visiting with the people, spending time in their homes, sharing Chinese meals like we're going to be sharing here very soon. All brings back wonderful memories. And sitting here and standing here and doing this with the other RCI members certainly brings back some wonderful memories and makes me anxious to go back and do it all again.
How did you first get involved with RCI? I don't know if you talked about that earlier, but.
Interestingly, I was at one of the cultural events in downtown Redwood City, and thank you. Gives me a chance to tell that little story. I was at one of the cultural events in downtown Redwood City in the square, put on by or sponsored by RCI. And as I was walking past the theater, I saw a sign that said Redwood City International event sponsor, and there were a number of people there. And I introduced myself and said, "Gee, tell me more about RCI," and they did. And it really sounded like something I wanted to do. And I was added to an email list and got invitations to attend the meetings. And I went from being a member to a board member to being elected to be the president, all of them honorable and self-educational experiences. So that's really been, and it's really become one of my favorite organizations in the city over the years, because it's just added so much diversity and experiences to my own personal life, meeting some of the people, being involved in some of the events, not only here in the United States, but being engaged with the activities that are happening at our sister cities like Zhuhai in China, and as we've recognized their various events. In fact, one of the things, Zhuhai was one of the very first 4 cities in the country, in the entire country, to become an economic zone, and that happened in 1980. I think I've got that address that time right. And they celebrated their anniversary in the year 2000, and we were invited to be part of that celebration. And they had a huge celebration in their amphitheater. And as I said, we sent over videos that were played for the Chinese people there, and was really congratulate them on their cultural and business successes there. So yeah, it's really been a rewarding time with this, a really rewarding organization here.
And we should probably make a plug that anybody in the Redwood City community is welcome to join. You can go to our website, which is redwoodcityinternational.org, and sign up to become a member. And you can like us on Facebook.
Yeah.
So our dumplings are ready.
Ooh.
They are boiled. They are ready to go. And before we take a bite and let everybody enjoy their dumplings at home, do we have a question? Okay, we have a question.
Would you suggest a dipping sauce?
Usually soy sauce is perfectly fine. Yeah, it depends. And some of my friends, they like seafood sauce as well. And some of them, they don't even need sauce, since the filling already have salt inside. So you can just try the original flavor. And you can get all the sauces and in Asian market.
Could you give approximate amount of room temperature water?
Just one bowl, like this. Just one bowl.
I'm pleased that none of our dumplings burst.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually. I was doing.
Yeah.
Do we have other questions, Annalie, or is that it?
We have a comment.
Okay,
Nice comment.
sure. What's the nice comment?
We made 50, going to boil some and fry some, the rest in freezer bags. Delicious, so fun. Thank you so much. What a great event.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
We know where to go to dinner for tomorrow night now.
Yeah, and that's very, that's very good choices.
Well, I think we're at a time where we can announce the winners of the raffle. Before we do, I think we want to also give a big thanks to Moon Lim for making all of the filling that we were preparing today, and to Palace Wang and Crouching Tiger Restaurant for providing the wrappers for this whole event, and to Peninsula 360 for live streaming, for giving us this kitchen to live stream from. You all have been awesome, and we really appreciate working with you. And I also want to thank Nancy and Keith for collaborating and putting this event on.
The credit really goes to Nancy. I've learned so much this evening tonight.
No, pleasure is mine, and it is great, such a great opportunity, to demonstrate Chinese culture and through the food, and pleasure is all mine.
Good. I've actually forgotten the name of the person I drew, so when you finish looking there, hand it over to me so I can read mine.
All right. So we have the first winner of the gift card is her name is Doreen Couillard. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then we have
the next one is Barb Fox.
Oh, and the lucky winner that I chose was Cheryl Battengalia. And
yeah, thank you all for registering and being here today. We'll follow up over email with your gift card and instructions for how to collect your reward. Well, I think that's it. We're gonna dig in. You guys want to take a bite and try our dumplings?
I'm ready.
Yes.
This may be the only dinner I get tonight. This is good. It must be one that one of you made.
Yeah, great work, everybody.
Towel? Whoops.
Here.
No, they're so filling.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's well cooked, right? It's not raw anymore.
No, not anymore. In fact, I'm impressed with
very
how tasty it is.
It's okay. So yeah, we want to thank you all for joining. Stay tuned. We'll have some more events down the line featuring some other cuisines, highlighting our other sister cities. In the meantime, you can like us on Facebook. You can go to our website and become a member. And we just want to thank you all for being here today, and we hope to connect with you soon.
And this is just the first stop. And since this is a series, and we're hosting the food trip around the world, and we would love you to join us for the next stop, which is Mexico. And we're gonna try some delicious Mexican food. And so stay tuned and have a great night.
Say.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
谢谢，再见。